If you've paid very close attention to the show, you will notice that we've already told you what the license coming after Five Nights at Freddy's is. So
you already told them throughout the show.
Yeah, there's been a bunch of clues hidden throughout our broadcast, a bunch of hints. So I want you to put on your tinfoil hats. Paulie, we're looking at you. And then give us our best speculations and theories on what you think it is. Actually, your nose.
Okay, so challenge accepted, Mathieu Cote. So when this PAX East broadcast was live from Boston a few weeks ago, I was on vacation. I wound up watching the live stream in my hotel on my mobile phone late at night on replay. So I wasn't able to drink in all the nuance of the stream and look for these clues that Mathieu talked about. So we're going to break them all down here right now today. Okay, so the first clue I want to talk about is right in our face on this roadmap that they presented to us. It is the most obvious and overt and very hard to deny, I would say. So if you look closely at this roadmap, you can see that some of the text isn't quite all there. Some of the letters are scratched out, like this T here in September. It's much fainter than the rest of the letters across the board. And if we look a little deeper, we can see that there are several letters like this. So we'll start here with this T in September. We'll move along the top to this H in March. And then we have this E in chapter. So we have the, right? And then if we go down here, in the July section here, we have this O for survivors. So we have O, and then in September we have the N in new killer, and the E in new survivor, and then the S in license. So we have the ones, and then we come down here, this W is scratched out, this H in chapter, and this O in survivor, the ones who, and then we go down to the bottom here, we have this L in July, this I in in-game event, this V in in-game event, and then the E in more to come. So if you put all that together, it spells out the ones who live. So there we go. I marked them all, and you can see that it says the ones who live, and you may be saying, well, what the heck is the ones who live? What does that mean? If you're not in the know, the ones who live is the name of the Walking Dead spin-off that starred Rick and Michonne, right? One season of that. So I think it's pretty well a slam dunk that the clues that they were giving to us are pointing towards Rick and Michonne being the two new survivors for a Walking Dead license chapter coming in July. I don't know what else it could be for the ones who live. And there are at least one other clue pointing towards the Walking Dead. So I think it's pretty undeniable. So what I believe to be another clue, we see this portion of the broadcast here where Mathieu reaches into his pocket and they do this close-up and he pulls this pocket watch out of his pocket. And I think this is also a clue to the Walking Dead. So I think this symbolizes the scene where Herschel has this pocket watch that he winds up giving it to Glenn, and later on it's handed on to Maggie as a family heirloom. This could suggest that not only might we be getting the Walking Dead characters of Rick and Michonne, we might also get legendaries for Glenn and Maggie, Carol and Daryl, things like that. Now, some people have suggested to me that Dave's eye patch here is a clue to perhaps Carl or the governor, but I don't think so. Or some people even said that it could be a clue to a Foxy skin coming in Five Nights at Freddy's, which, you know, there's no sign of Foxy other than a little plush on the new map. Some people think that maybe we'll get Foxy as the Blight as a skin down the road. It's all possible, but I will note that Dave had eye surgery a few months ago, and he wore this same eye patch to the Tadaima event in Japan with, I think, the Dead by Daylight hash marks logo on it. And at first, when I saw it when he was in Japan, I thought that it was a nod to Kaneki, how Kaneki would keep his one eye covered. But the simple answer was that he just had eye surgery He had casual photos taken around Japan with that eye patch on. And when King did interviews with Dave in Montreal, he still had the eye patch on. So I think it's just an end product from his eye surgery, and he likes to decorate it. My friend Mia pointed out that the X shown here is just like the X in PAX. So I think it's just decorated for PAX. There could be something more to it, but I think the simple answer is that he's had eye surgery. Okay, so buckle up for this part. This took me on quite a journey. Now, my friend Jane said, this seems awkward to me, and I will admit it does seem telegraphed, so I looked into it further. So let me show you what I mean. This is when they first started talking about all the different licenses that they've acquired for Dead by Daylight over the years.
Halloween was the very first time we brought in some Legends of Horror. Many more followed after that.
Yeah, Leatherface, Chucky, Alien,
Ghostface, Stranger Things.
Ash from Evil Dead.
And on and on.
Yes, and on it rolls.
Yeah, one of the big...
So that, and on it rolls was the thing that Jane said to me. Is that the thing that people say? And I'm not sure that it is. It seemed a little awkward to me. And on it rolls. I don't know. Maybe some of you are familiar with that phrase, but I would think it would be more like and on it goes or something like that. So and on it rolls, I was like, I wonder if that means something. And it seems like Matthew's lead up to it is a little telegraph there. So what do you think? So you know how when you Google something nowadays that Gemini and all these AI things are being trained to give you the top response, and then you have to go down through the web pages to look further? Well, the AI for Google was drunk on this day because I typed in Walking Dead and on it rolls, and it spit this back out to me. The title, and on it rolls, refers to episode 6 of season 20 of The Walking Dead, which aired on October 20th, 2019. This episode follows the group's attempts to settle into Alexandria as they grapple with their new lives in the aftermath of their recent struggles. And I'm like, hot damn, we got it. It's definitely Walking Dead. Slam, dunk, boom. Which all sounds great until you do a follow-up on the information that the AI gave you, and you find out that actually the 6th episode of the 10th season of Walking Dead is called Bonds. It's not called and on it rolls. So what? Thank you, AI, for your mistake. So then I said, well, there's got to be some connection there. How could it get it that wrong? Let me try again. And on it rolls Walking Dead. And this time, the AI generated response spat out this. The song And On It Rolls by Bear McCreary was featured in the Walking Dead series. It was used during the final scene of the episode Sing Me a Song in season 3, where it played over images of the various characters at the end of the season. The song is also available on the Walking Dead AMC Original Soundtrack Volume 1 and is a track from the score of the show. So I'm like, ha, got it. That's what the Google AI meant. Boom, that's it. But no, when I did a follow-up on the AI response, I could find nowhere that the original Walking Dead theme song is called And On It Rolls anywhere. It's just called the theme song of The Walking Dead. I found no place where it was called And On It Rolls, as the AI generated response suggested. So wah-wah on that one as well. Then it tried to tell me the line and on and on and on it rolls. I did the whole thing, right? The Matthew's part and Eric's part put together. And on and on and on it rolls is a lyric from the Walking Dead theme song written by Bear McCreary. The theme song has no lyrics. I looked and I'm like, well, is there a lyricized version of this? No. It is just, AI was drunk on this day, and it led me down a path of wasting my time. And then it tried to tell me that On It Rolls is a line spoken by Merle Dixon in the Walking Dead TV series. And I'm just like, okay, I'm just basically playing a game of Balderdash with Google's AI. And it's just trying to convince me of all of these things, which I could find no corroborating evidence for whatsoever. And I was like, Google, go home. You're drunk. So ultimately, I was unable to make a concrete connection for the and on it rolls to Walking Dead whatsoever, so I gave up on that. Okay, next we're going to talk about Eric Pope. He's our community director over at Dead by Daylight. And Eric, please don't take a restraining order out on me. This is going to get to stalkery levels, or at very least, you're going to see the depths of my madness when I have this tinfoil hat on. So if you don't know, Maurice went missing just before the PAX East event in Boston. So Maurice is the horse that is often found in the carnival on the Father Campbell's Chapel map. He's by the clown's wagon. He's the clown's horse, and he went missing. And so at PAX, Eric started putting up these posters for Lost Horse Maurice, which I absolutely love. I love that they're doing this, that they leaned into this. And so we found out that Maurice has gone off on his own little adventure along with the Oni and the Spirit to the Assassin's Creed video game here. Assassin's Creed Shadows did a collab in which you can unlock Maurice as a steed, and you can unlock the Oni and the Spirit as cosmetics in that game. I'm not super familiar with the game, so I don't know everything that entails, but apparently it looks like, you know, they encourage snuggling of animals, and my friend here sent me this screenshot of a few snuggly animal pictures of the Oni cuddling up. Yeah, I've never seen this side of the Oni before. I'm going to think of this whenever he's smacking me with his giant Kanobo. But yeah, so they're in Assassin's Creed as well as Maurice. Look, we even have two Maurices here. So, you know, the Dead by Daylight is a multiverse. You know, you can see right here, there's two Maurices in this stable here. And I wondered, well, why does Maurice have to leave our game to go to this game? Why can't he just show up there? You know, I mean, when we had the For Honor collab, we didn't lose Trapper, right? Trapper went over to For Honor and played over there, and it was all fine. You know, we didn't lose him. Why are we losing Maurice, right? And Eric said this on the latest dev stream. Let me show you.
Maurice will return soon, I hope.
Please, come back.
Okay, so Maurice will return soon, right? So I thought, okay, for some reason they decided to create this air of mystery to market the collab for the Assassin's Creed Shadows game, I guess. I have no doubt that Maurice will return. But I thought, what would be the most spectacular fashion that Maurice could come back to us? And the thing that I came up with is, if I'm right, and it is going to be The Walking Dead with Rick and Michonne, how badass would it be if they have some trailer introducing Rick and Michonne into the fog, where they, similar to the season 1 where Rick rides into Atlanta on The Walking Dead, if you have Rick and Michonne on the back of Maurice riding into the fog, I think that would be so badass. And if you aren't doing this, if it is Rick and Michonne and you aren't doing this, shame on you. Shame on you, Dead by Daylight, because I think that would be a badass squeal at the trailer if Maurice is the one who brings Rick and Michonne into the fog. More focus on Eric. This time we're going to talk about his hat, and I really truly believe that this hat has some meaning, because he has these pins that are on the right side of his hat, which is the side that's facing the audience. There's nothing on the left side of the hat. And apparently he only wore this hat for the live stream, and then he took it off and changed hats for meet and greets and time in the booth and the rest of the weekend. This hat is only seen on this live stream here. And I especially believe there's to be some truth to my theory of hat hints when I see Eric put out tweets like this that say, by the way, people still haven't cracked every hint in the PAX broadcast. And then I was asking for a high-res photo because it seems nobody has a good look at this hat. Like I said, he took it off after, and it isn't shown very well on camera on the broadcast, so it's a tricky one. I'm pretty sure these are pins on the hat, because he took this selfie of the 250 people who were lined up for the panel before it started here. And you can see on the hat that whatever this is, it's sticking out from it. It looks like they're pins. They definitely have some definition raised above the hat here. So I think there are 2 pins. Now the question is, what are these pins? So one of the things we did when I got home is we did a live stream where we watched the broadcast together because I needed a better look at all these clues, and I was fixated on these pins in the hat and trying to find a good angle on the broadcast, something that would make it clear to what these are. And then my friend Mia said, why don't you just ask him? So I said, you know, that's not a bad idea. I'll go ahead and ask him. So I said, Eric, could you please tell me what these pins are on your hat, and or provide a better picture of them? Thank you in advance. Sincerely, your friend in the fog, Paulie Esther. And I said, well, what could it hurt, right? This is the best I've got, honestly, like scouring the internet for hours looking for photos of this. And so he said, would you ask Michelangelo for a higher res Sistine Chapel? I'm interested what you think the shapes are, though. So this is the key here for me, that he's playing coy. So this has to be something that he knows I'm on to him, but he doesn't want to give me everything, right? So he wants to know what I think. So he said, I think they are a tiger and a horse. So most people think that this bottom one is a horse. Some people think it's a chicken. I don't really see the chicken. I don't know where they're getting chicken from on this, unless they think it's turned on its side. I don't really know. The top one looks like there are some fangs here and a head facing this way. So I thought it's a tiger. Like, here's the tiger's nose. It's facing left, and this, it could be a snake as well, like a venomous snake, with that being the fang. So I think, you know, it looks like to me like this is an animal fang with the head. I don't know. Some people see in the negative space, they see a person with a white background walking towards them with either a cowboy hat or a feudal Asian hat, like the head of someone walking here. So that could be a Walking Dead thing, I guess, if it's a cowboy hat. I don't really know. So I was thinking tiger and horse, and that it was going to be like Sheva, King Ezekiel's tiger. I don't know. But those were my guesses, was tiger and horse. And he said, eh. So that meant to me that one of them was correct. If he's like, meh, you're pretty close, right? So if I have to pick, I'm guessing that the horse is correct on the bottom. So I don't know. Is this Walking Dead? Is that a cowboy hat? A cowboy hat? A silhouette? Not sure here. And this is a tricky one. So if you are someone who attended the PAX East event in Boston and did get a good picture of this hat and these pins, I implore you to share it on, you know, magnification. It just doesn't seem to help. They just kind of turn into puddles of mess here. I can't make out what it is. Shy shared her footage. I asked King if he had any footage. Nobody has anything crystal clear. So if you do somehow have a snapshot of this hat that makes it clear what these are, I implore you to share it with me, please. Show it to me, tag me on Twitter, because you know, I don't think I'm exaggerating when I say that that would be the most important find since the head of the staff of Ra in Indiana Jones. Now, having said all of that, I'm about to throw all of the Walking Dead stuff that I just gave you out the window, even though Eric noted the closest on the case so far is Paulie Esther. The other thing that people noticed on the live stream are Eric and Matthew's blazers here. I've literally seen no one else say this, but the blazers they're wearing, aren't they familiar? Almost like a dragon. So this would suggest Yakuza. And even Eric himself puts little emoji here on the one talking about their blazers. And while I don't know a lot about Yakuza Like a Dragon, I will admit that, as Tweety notes here, that it does look like this is Matthew's blazer, and this snakeskin one here does look like Eric's blazer. So it's hard to argue the connection. And if you want to tie that into the pins on the hat, this character here recently started putting a snake on his eye patch. I'm not too sure, but how does that fit? Yakuza Dead Souls, we see both these characters with those blazers. I don't really know. Would these be skins for DBD? Certainly, would this be a chapter for DBD? Yakuza Dead Souls? I don't know, but it's hard to argue the connection between these two blazers here, that's for sure. But this theory has a little something for everybody. For those who see a snake in the top pin, it could be the snake for the eye patch. You could also lead that into the eye patch for Dave, but again, I'm discounting that. I think that is just related to his surgery. And then Dweet tweets out here, if for the people who see a chicken, the chicken, I will name you Nugget, and then the punching of a tiger. So if you think that one of my things is right, it could be the tiger was right, but the horse is actually a chicken, or the horse was right and the other one is actually a snake, although I don't have a horse connection for Yakuza. So I don't know. What do you think? As I said, I'm very, very ignorant about this entire franchise. So I'm going to leave it all up to you to put the pieces together and let me know why this could possibly be a connection to Yakuza. The mystery of Eric's hat will continue. I wanted to try and nail this one down before I made this video, because I know many of you have been asking me, Paulie, when are you going to make a video about the clues from PAX? And so this is what I've got for you. We'll just have to leave this mystery unsolved until another day, unless some of you can either figure it out or give me a better photo of this hat. That's where we're at. So Eric, was that a good ride for you? Did you like my craziness? Please don't block me. All right, that's all I have to show you today. As always, thank you so very much for watching. I appreciate the time that you spend here with me on my channel. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts on all of these theories. Is it time to get Grandpa back off to bed because he needs to go to sleep? He needs to go lay down or what? What do you think? Let me know what you think about any and all of these theories, and if you have anything to contribute or expand on any of that. But I appreciate you watching. Don't forget to take care of each other in and out of the fog, and we'll see you next time. Have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.
It's a Gen Rush life for us. It's a Gen Rush life for us. Set a hiding, we do gens. Set a randoms, we got friends. It's a Gen Rush life.